going to see under, let me find it here. You're going to see over here under Church Windows Training. Let me grab my highlighter so you can see it. And you want to click on this section that says Workbooks. This is where you can click to find the material that I'm using for today's webinar. So today's webinar, we're going under Donations. And it's Donations or D101. This is the book that we're using today. So we're going to go over pages 5 through 10. So 5 through 10 are going to cover adding givers. So this is going to be adding givers on the donation side of things, along with adding givers into the membership side of Church Windows. So D101, you can purchase this book to have the material that we're going over today. If you scroll up to the top, it's also going to have your prices. So it's going to be $12 if you'd like to download it. And then also it'll be $22 if you want to get it pre-printed and mailed to you. So it's really up to you what you need, but $12 just to download it. You can print it off from any printer, or it'll be $22 if that's going to be a pre-printed binder ready piece of material that we're going to send to you. So like I said, D101, and we're going over pages 5 through 10. Let me go ahead and close this. Couple things about the GoToWebinar toolbar. If you've been here before, you've probably heard me explain this, but you do have the ability to ask questions. So there is a question section on your GoToWebinar toolbar. Kellyanne is listening in today, and feel free to type a question up in there, and she'd be happy to answer it. I do ask that you keep your questions topical. If you have a specific question for your data, or a question that really doesn't have to do with adding those donations givers, please call us or feel free to email us at support@churchwindows.com. That way we can get you an answer, but with so many people and only one presenter and one person answering question, it can be hard to answer properly those in-depth questions that you might have. All right, so let's jump into our topic. Let me open up donations. So we're going to talk about adding individuals into the donations module, or from the donations module. So if you're just starting out in Church Windows, this is where you can go through adding people, or if you've converted from the contributions module to the donations module, those people and that information that you had before was converted, and now you will have your givers. So a quick glance to see the people that you already have is going to be right here in Manage Givers. I'm going to go ahead and click on that so you can get an idea of what this screens look like. If you've used donations before, hopefully you've been in here as a way to kind of keep tabs on who your givers are. One note I want to point out before I get back to the detail in the workbook. You do have V's and D's after people. And then you have people that don't have any letter after them. Something to keep in mind, when you see someone with a V, that's telling you that that person has been entered into membership visitors. Okay, so like this person here is from membership visitors because they have a little V next to their name. Now, if you find someone here like Jen or Richard, they have no letter after their last name. That's telling you that this person is from membership members. Okay, so that's where this person's name is coming from. So if you ever needed to edit or make a change to this person's information, you have to go over into membership. And then you also have your people with your D's. So we have a couple people here with D's. These are people that have actually been entered directly into the donations module, so they are considered donations givers. Okay, so if you went over to membership and you looked for these people, they're not going to be listed in membership. They're going to be listed only in donations because they have the D. Okay, so let's get into adding givers, which is our topic. Let me close this. To add someone into Church Windows. You're going to come up here to Givers up at the top, and then you're going to click on this Add Individual button. Now after you click on this Add Individual button, you now have several options. So this goes back to what I just showed you with the V's and the D's. First option, add donations individual giver. This would be one of those people that would have the D after their last name. So this would be someone that is only going to show up in the donations side of Church Windows. You also have an add membership members. This would be someone who is going to be a member over on the membership side. And then you also have a add membership visitor. This would be one of those people with the V. So this would be where you would go if you needed to add someone in as a visitor. Okay, so moving on to page 6, we're going to talk about adding a donations individual giver. I'm going to go ahead and click on this. And then we're going to see this add screen. There's lots of fields on here that you can fill in. You do not have to fill all of them in, or you're not required to fill all of them in. But you do need to at least fill in the first name and the last name. The program does need that. In donations, you don't need to assign a giver number. So if you don't want to give someone a giver number, feel free to leave that box blank. But in today's example, I'm going to go ahead and put in a giver number. If you go to assign someone a giver number and someone already has it, the program will alert you with a little red exclamation point that'll tell you this number is not available. You need to pick another number. So you could go into Manage Givers and poke around in there, or you could run a report if you want to see what numbers are in fact available. Okay? But let's put in a giver number. Receive statement. If you want this person to receive a donation statement, you need to make sure this receive statement box is checked. If you're creating a giver and for whatever reason they don't need a donation statement, you can uncheck that box. But most of the time you're going to want this box to remain checked. We're going to put in a first name. We're going to put in a middle initial. I'll just do myself here. And then we're going to put in a last name. Title, suffix, nickname, use nickname. They are not required to be filled in, but once again, they're options for you to track people a little easier. You may fill those in if you wish. There's also a place to add in some comments. If you need to add comments in about this person, that can be done here. And these comments will be shown in Manage Givers, which was that first screen I showed you when we got started. Then you also have an address box. So the address box is going to be pretty important if you plan on mailing someone a statement. You need to know where that statement needs to be mailed. So to add a mailing address, you're going to come over here and hit this little plus sign. And pretty straightforward, you're just going to fill in the boxes. Oops. Just going to make up an address here. We'll do Gahanna 43230. So here's my address. We're going to say OK. And now we have an address so we can send a statement to. And then we're also going to come down here under contact. So this would be where you could put in an email and a phone number if you wish. So we would hit the plus sign. You would choose which option you want to put in first. So we can put in here cell. Did I get enough 5s in there? I think I'm one short. And then you can also do an email. So jump over to email and we'll put personal email. And then we can just put in Rachel@churchwindows.com. And that's how you would track their contact information. Now, if you ever need to go back and delete or edit the address or the contact information, you can do that by using the minus signs or the pencils. Okay. Once you have all the information in for your person that you need, you're going to go ahead and just simply hit the Add Giver button. This screen is going to blank out. You can then move on and put in another person if you wish, or if you're done, you can go ahead and just hit Finish Adding Givers. Okay, so now if we go back into Manage Givers, we're going to see Rachel D. Klein. There's my giver number. If I had added any comments, those would be listed here. Same thing, here's my contact information, and here's my address. Okay, you can also add people right here from Manage Givers if you ever need to do that. There is a plus sign here. You hit the plus sign. You can also pick what type of person you need to add. Okay, now let's say, for example, you've come across a person who you don't recognize, and you need to check to see if that person's already in church windows, which is a very good thing to do to help reduce the risk of getting duplicates in the program. So a good thing to search for or to check to see if someone's in here is to come down here in the bottom left and check this Show an Active box. So this is going to look at everybody. So even people that maybe came to the church and left and they've been terminated or removed properly from the church, if you check that Show an Active box, it's still going to include those people when you do a search. So let's say I come across someone named William Smith, okay, and I need to see if William Smith has been put in here before. Clicking in the search box, I can simply just type in William Smith, and if you see the box below here, it's empty, telling me that I don't have a William Smith in here. So then I could easily clear this out and come back over here and hit the little plus sign, and I can add someone quickly from right here. Okay, so it's a good little test to kind of help you reduce your option for duplicates. Okay, so let's go ahead and close this, and let me show you what the screen looks like when you're going to add someone into the membership side of things. So same things, you're going up to Givers, you're going to add Individual, and we're going to go down to Add Membership Member. And this screen is going to look a little different because it's actually pulling a screen across from the membership side. Lots of options here. If you work in membership, this is going to look pretty familiar. You have an option to enter a new family or enter an existing family. So say you need to put someone in who already has a family created over in membership. So say you have a Sally Smith already over in membership and you need to put William in, her husband, to her family. So you could go down and choose existing and then pick that Sally Smith from the list here. Okay, now if you have a brand new person, meaning they aren't in here, you checked for them in Manage Givers, they didn't come up, then you want to go with the new family option. So left is going to be your family information. So this is going to create that family record over on the left-hand side in membership. And then you have your individual information, which is going to be your information about this person you're entering, which is William. So we'll just do real quick, get some information in here. Mailing label is required, but if you don't know the address, you don't have to fill that in right away. That's fine. But then you do need to come over here and put in their last name and their first name. So we'll do Smith, William, and then we'll come down here. These two fields include on directory and directory report order. If you've listened to any type of membership webinar, you've probably heard us discuss the importance of these fields. It's not... I don't believe it's required to put this in, but it is strongly suggested. So include on directory, you just need to specify whether you want them to be included in the directory or not from church windows, simply choosing yes or no. And then a directory report order is crucial for when you're printing reports from membership at looking at what order or what relation someone has in their family when you're running a report. So we're going to go ahead and choose primary because Williams might be the only person in his household. Okay. Once again, you have options for comments. Put those in if you wish, and then we're going to say OK. And now we have William Smith added. So if we go back in here into Manage Givers, here's our William that we just put in. Okay. All right, next we're going to talk about adding families and groups in donations. So Sometimes you have people that give money to the church, or a group that gives to the church. Perhaps a Sunday school class takes up a collection, or maybe a business has made a donation. Sometimes you have a group that makes a donation as a memorial, if for maybe an employee that worked for them that has passed. So in those cases, you have this add group option up here under givers. So if you go to givers and you go to add group, it's going to be a similar screen to what we saw when we added a donations individual, but it's just a little less to fill out because it is an organization. So you can assign a giver number if you wish. And then you're going to come down here and put in the group name. Same thing, if you want them to receive a statement, you are going to leave that receive statement box checked. You just type in the name of the group or class that made the donation. You can put in an address. The example from our book just has them putting in an address of meets at the church. And then you also have a contact information. This might be a good place to put in maybe the leader of that Sunday school class. You can put their information in there. Okay. Then once you're done, you just hit add giver and then finished. And then this group will now be listed in manage givers. Oops, I probably spelled that wrong. Oh, I'm on the wrong tab. Goodness, sorry. Let me switch families and groups because we added them as a group, which I was just explaining. And here they are, Loyal Hands Sunday School class. And they have the D because they were entered just into donations. All right, so the next option for adding a group, if you don't want to put it in through donations, you do have the option to create this group as a family over in the membership side. So let me close donations and we're going to hop over into membership here. And we're actually going to go into visitors to do this. So if you decide to purchase the workbook, page 10 is going to go over adding a group as a family over in membership visitors. So if you don't want to put them over in donations or you don't have donations, you can definitely create a family record over here for a group or class. So for our example, we're going to set up maybe an AA group that meets at the church. So I'm going to go ahead and hit add, and in the mailing label, I'll put AA, and then I'll write Tuesday evening. And then in the address, we're just going to put in meets at the church. And then also, a good option is over here on the right. You have to put an individual in, but the good option for who you put in would maybe be the leader of the church. So you could put in Joe Smith. Maybe he is the contact person for that group. So you could go ahead and just type in Joe Smith's name over here, along with any of his specific contact information if you ever needed to get a hold of him. Okay? There's also one more option for adding a group or class. Let me cancel this, close this, and I'm actually going to go into attendance, and then I'm going to go into set up groups and classes. So this is a good place where you can go in and create multiple groups and classes. So say you have Sunday school classes, you might already have some of these set up. But these groups or classes that you create over here, they can also donate over on the donation side. So the example in the book on page 11 walks you through how to set up a quilters quilting group. So if we wanted to put that under, we'll say, fellowship groups, you would click to highlight the folder of where you want it to go, and then down here at the bottom you would click on add groups and classes. You would type in a code, and then you would type in the name of the group and then add it. And here it is right over here. Okay, and then you can assign people to Quilters Quilting, so put in all those people that want to be part of that group, and then that group can also make a donation as a whole over on the donation side. Okay? So I know I got a little rushed at the end there. I wanted to make sure I fit it all in. Let me see if we have any questions coming in here that I can help Kellyanne to answer. Let's see what we've got in here. Oh, looks like she's done a great job answering questions. Awesome. And if you have any additional questions, feel free to type those in. I'm peeking over at the questions now. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have. Someone's asking how to remove someone from a group. Let me close this and I can show you how to add and remove someone. But if you go back to attendance and go back into this groups, classes, skills, interests assignment, up at the top here, you just select your group or class. I'll go ahead and just pick Quilters Quilting. And then from here, you can double click people to move them over to the right side to add them. And if you want to remove someone, same thing, you can highlight them, hit delete, and that will move them from the record or from the group. This is just a pretty fast way to add a lot of people to a group or class. Kim's asking, what is the benefit to putting someone into donations versus membership? There's a couple different things I would suggest you consider before you decide where to enter someone. If someone is coming to the church, it's their first time, and you don't know if they're going to join or what they're going to do, I would recommend putting them over into membership visitors from the get-go. You can definitely put people into donations as a donations giver or a donations group. The option is there, but I would recommend only doing that if you know that person is a one-time giver. So if you know that person already has a church home, they're not going to be joining, or if you know, say, it's a business and they're just making a one-time gift, stick them over in donations as a donations individual group. If you're not sure, put them over in visitors, because if you put them over in donations and they decide to join and start coming back, there's not a way to pick up that donations giver and transfer it over into membership. You'd have to recreate them. So it's going to save you a lot of time to stick with membership visitors unless you're sure they're not going to be joining the church, then put them over into donations givers. Linda's asking, what is the fastest way to add members' children to their membership list? Fastest way is definitely going to be to go into membership, members or visitors, wherever you've added them, and then pull up their household. We'll work with the Olivers here. But then over on the right, select the individual record before you hit the add button. This is really important. So you want to click over here on the individual record to make sure this window is selected instead of the family, and then hit the add button, and you're going to get a blank individual record screen. And then you add in the next person, making sure to specify their include on directory and their directory report order, along with any other fields you might know, and then save it. And that's going to then add that next person into the household. All right, any other questions? We're at about 23 minutes. I went a little over today. Sorry about that. If you are done, you've gotten what you came for, go ahead and close out. That's fine. But if you have any other questions, feel free to type them in. I'll be happy to answer. And if no more questions come in, then I'll go ahead and just close up shop here. Save button is only going, Marcia's asking where was the save button. The save button is only going to appear once you've made a change to a record. So if I change this or put in a health record, the save button is then going to appear up here on the top left to the right of the find button. If there's nothing to save, that save button won't be there. But if there is something to save, you can hit save or hit enter on your keyboard and that'll save it too. All right, looks like there's just a couple left. I'm going to go ahead and close up shop. I hope you guys learned something new today that will help you do your job and make things a little easier at work. If you have questions, come up with anything else, please feel free to call us on our support line and we're happy to help you. Have a great day. Bye.